14th president election and the 9th legislator election on-the-spot records. The Central Election Commission decided that the 14th president election and the 9th legislator election will be held on the same date and the polling day set on January 16, 2016. Pre-election meeting. The Central Election Commission held a pre-election meeting on September 8, 2015 for better election preparation.
总统、副总统选举跟第9任这个立法委员选举的一个启动的这个誓师大会啦哈，我想这个借这个机会，我们大家互相勉励一下，希望我们能够把这个选举呢办好。
Announcement of the President Election. The chairperson of the Central Election Commission, Liu E-zhou, made announcement of the 14th president election, as well as the announcement of voter registration for all overseas nationals. The candidates of the president election have to be nominated by a political party or by citizen petition. To nominate presidential candidates, a political party has to receive more than 5% vote from either most recent presidential or legislator elections. Regarding the petition, 4 pairs of candidates applied for candidacy of the president and vice president. According to law, the number of signees on the petition must account for at least 1.5% of the total eligible voters in the most recent legislator election, which is 269,709 votes. The CEC announced the petition outcome on November 17th. None of the 4 pairs qualified. The legislator election announcement. The Central Election Commission made the legislator election announcement on November 13, 2015. Announcement of the registration date for the president election and the legislator election. The Central Election Commission announced the registration date for all candidates of the president election and the legislator election on November 19, 2015. Registration for presidential candidates was open between November 23rd and November 27th. 3 pairs of candidates registered. They are James Song and Xu Xingying, Zhu Lilun and Wang Ruxuan, Tsai Ing-wen and Chen Jianren. Registration for legislator candidate was open between November 23rd and November 27th. Totally 376 candidates were qualified in district and indigenous legislator election. There were 18 political parties recommended 179 candidates for the legislator at-large election. Lot drawing to determine the presidential and vice presidential candidates' number designation. Lot drawing to determine the presidential and vice presidential candidates' number designation, hosted by Chairperson Liu E-zhou, was held on December 14, 2015. The results are: Number 1, Zhu Lilun and Wang Ruxuan. Number 2, Tsai Ing-wen and Chen Jianren. Number 3, James Song and Xu Xingying. Announcement of the list of the candidates of the President and Vice President election. Campaign of President election. After the announcement of the name list of the candidates of the President election, all candidates start their campaign. The official campaign lasted for 28 days from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. During the election campaign, the CEC publishes election bulletins. Audio version and digital version of electoral bulletins are also available.
我们首创了数位化选举公报。我们知道传统除了传统的纸本的选举公报之外，它的所有讯息我们今年把它融入到我们电脑当中，让网友或者民众可以查询，建入他的自己的户籍地址，马上就会跑出他自己所属的投票所。
Public forums are held for the candidates of the president and vice president. All were broadcasted on national TV and also on internet. Debates among the presidential and vice presidential candidates are also sponsored by civic organizations. Lot drawing to determine the candidate's number designation. The lot drawing to determine the candidate's number designation for the Indigenous Legislator and Legislator at Large election are held by the CEC on December 23, 2015. Lot drawing to determine the electoral district candidate's number designation is held by the Election Commission of each municipality and each county. Announcement of the candidate list of the legislator election. Campaign activities of the legislator election. Campaign videos featuring different political parties were aired on national TV during the campaign period. Public forums for the Lowland and Highland Indigenous legislator candidates are broadcasted on Aboriginal TV channels. Election commissions of the municipalities and counties held public forums for electoral district candidates and then are aired on TV. Voter lists of president and legislator election are displayed for the public to check out. Those voter lists of president and legislator election were displayed in town offices, district offices, and regional offices for 3 days between December 29, 2015 and December 31, 2015. Campaign activity. The presidential and vice presidential election campaign activities. Public Awareness Campaign. The Central Election Commission invited an actress, Miss Chen Mei Feng, as the spokesperson for the elections. Public awareness campaign included commercial on TV, newspaper advertisement, broadcasting, advertisement at airports, posters, advertisement on internet, and the CEC website. Anti-corruption activities are also held by related organizations and units. Election scrutiny. During the election, the CEC held seminars on election supervision to explain the regulation and practice of the scrutiny. A supervision committee in each city or county is responsible for cracking down on violation of election rules. On the day of the voting, the whole process is monitored by inspectors recommended by the candidates or political parties. Preparation for vote counting. Training for poll station staff was held in various cities and counties. Related election operations also include the distribution of election bulletins and voting notification. Printing of the ballots. There are 18 participating political parties in this election. The ballot paper is the longest in history. Delivery of the ballots. Counting of the ballots. Set up the polling station. Providing various assistance to the disabled, such as appropriate design of polling station, installing non-barrier polling environment, and so on. Accommodating visually impaired voters by providing ballot slip covers with braille printing. Setting up wheelchair-accessible polling booths. Making sure that moving in the polling station is convenient for the disabled. The manager of each polling station is responsible for the process of the event. He or she must make sure the voting runs smoothly. On the day before the voting, the CEC conducted a simulation of the vote counting. Election Day. 15,582 polling stations across the country were open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on January 16, 2016. Vote counting. After the poll closes, all polling stations are rearranged for vote counting. To get a vote count, station staffs are required to take out each ballot out of the box one by one consecutively, read the vote out loud, and display it to public witness. Seats for the witnesses must also be arranged. After the counting at stations, managers make a written report of the results and post the report outside the station. Each copy must be signed by the station manager and be given to party or independent candidate representatives. Each poll station manager is required to send a messenger to deliver the station results to the Township Electoral Operations Centers, so the results can be entered into a centralized computing system for compilation. The Counting and Information Center for Election provides the real-time election results to the public. The whole process was completed at 10:50 p.m. that night. The result of the president election. Number of the eligible voter in the 14th president election is 18,782,991. Number of vote cast is 12,448,302, and the turnout is 66.72%. The vote share among presidential candidates. Tsai Ing-wen and Chen Jianren has 56.12% of the vote. Zhu Lilun and Wang Ruxuan received 31.04% of the vote, and James Song and Shi Xingying received 12.84% of the vote. Introduction of the electee. President Tsai Ing-wen. Vice President Chen Jianren. The result of the legislator election. In the 9th legislator election, turnout of the electoral district legislator is 66.58%, 51.72% for the lowland indigenous legislator, 57.66% for the highland indigenous legislator, and 66.25% for the legislator at large. 113 legislators are elected, with 70 male electees and 43 female electees. The Democratic Progressive Party took 68 seats, 35 for Kuomintang, 5 for New Power Party, 3 for People First Party. Nonpartisan Solidarity Union holds 1 seat and 1 seat for the independent candidate. Awarding of the electee certificates. After the electee list announced by the CEC on January 22, 2016, the CEC chairperson presented the election certificates to the president-elect and vice president-elect, delivering the electee certificates to the 9th legislator at large election. The electees inaugurated. The legislator inaugurated on February 1, 2016. The President and Vice President inaugurated on May 20, 2016. After the election, the CEC held a meeting to review the process of the election. A survey showed that 84.1% of the citizens are satisfied with the process of the election, with 95.7% satisfaction rate on the service of the staff at polling stations. The CEC has once again successfully completed the 14th presidential election and the 9th legislator election. Democracy in Taiwan is once again praised by national and international media. The Economist magazine showed its admiration with an article titled, "Remarkable Taiwanese Election."